Boys, it's been a minute. When was the last time we actually made a build on this channel? I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I got a bit fatigued. Not at making content, but making builds. For the longest time, I felt like every time we made a build, a new season would begin, and all of that hard work that was put into those mods and combining things and exotics would essentially be obsolete. But I've been reinvigorated. It's actually occurred because the pushback date of Beyond Light is now November 10th instead of September. Meaning the artifact mods and everything that you see here in front of us are gonna be here for a minute. So in front of us today, we are taking Monte Carlo. Oh yeah. Combining it with dear old Marty, and merging it with Top Tree Gunslinger with that proximity explosive knife perk. So ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Monty and Marty. Huh? Okay, to be honest with you guys, Marty wasn't really thrown into the mix until yesterday, so you're gonna see a little bit of gameplay of our bug out bag, which we will show the role to. The main thing to take away from this is that we're playing dear old Gunslinger, which I gotta say, if I ever really do stop and play Hunter, Gunslinger is always the class I go to. I love it. Every now and then I go to Spectral, but that's just whenever I'm playing Trials because Spectral is kind of broken. But everywhere else, I love Gunslinger. Now, Top Tree Gunslinger has a melee perk called Proximity Explosive Knife. You throw a knife that attaches to a surface upon impact and will explode when it detects an enemy nearby. This was a change made way back when Bungie was trying to like push people to play Gunslinger more, which is a difficult push. Turns out a lot of people don't like being insta-killed in their super. Now, this Proximity Explosive Knife is not a bad little knife. Inside of Crucible, I think on direct impact, it does like 105 damage plus like 19 actual impact damage for a combined amount of 124 damage. Not a necessarily lethal amount. I guess the beautiful thing about explosive knives is that you can use them almost like a secondary trip mine grenade, right? Set these traps around you, cut off exits. It's quite fantastic. But the real reason why we're actually using this is because Solar Plexus is an artifact mod this season. This essentially elevates the damage of our solar melee abilities, and in something like PvP, that's actually a 25% increase there in damage, going from a total of 124 damage to now 155, which is substantially more. Now, it's only 155 if you actually make contact with the enemy with your explosive knife. Now, if you don't make contact with the enemy and you just lay it down as a trap, which is what I'm pretty much doing here, it will still hit 132 damage when someone walks over the knife or gets within proximity of it. This is honestly super OP. Again, really works well on maps that like pushes enemies into these choke points. On open maps, not necessarily, but it's something like Control, especially Control on certain maps that are really tight. Think things like Anomaly, Burnout was pretty good. These maps are fantastic for kind of pushing the enemies into lanes that they will hands down step in proximity of this knife. Now I'm throwing knives like crazy, which brings us to the exotic OPHIDIA Spaith. This exotic comes with the exotic perk Scissor Fingers, grants 2 knives per charge, and the beautiful thing about this perk is that when you reach that melee cooldown, you get both knives back instantly. It's not as if you gotta wait 30 something seconds at max strength in order to just get one knife back and it's just a placeholder. No, you get both your knives back. On top of that, if you happen to be rocking Gambler's Dodge, which I highly recommend you do with this build, dodging instantly gives you back both your knives. You see where we're going with this, guys? Solar Plexus increases the damage of our explosive knives. OPHIDIA Spaith gives us an extra knife. Gambler's Dodge refreshes this over and over again. And Gambler's Dodge is something that works really well, especially on maps like Twilight Gap, where you have different levels of the map. You got enemies underneath you, hey, it's all good, man. They're in proximity, that's all that matters. So laying these traps down almost becomes an infinite cycle with something like Gambler's Dodge and OPHIDIA Spaith. But just to top everything back off, for those moments that you need a weapon to always give you your knife back, is of course Monte Carlo. Now Monte Carlo comes with the Monte Carlo method perk. Dealing damage with this weapon reduces your melee cooldown and grants a chance to fully charge your melee ability with each kill. It's actually insane how often this perk actually procs. So much so that I don't even think you need max strength for this build to work. I was just doing it just simply to go overboard with our knives here. Now what's so perfect about Monte is that it also comes with a trait called Markov Chain. The weapon gains increased damage from your melee kills as well as kills from this weapon. Melee kills also grant ammo for for Monte Carlo. The main takeaway from that is that those moments that you actually lay down those explosive knives, if an enemy walks over it and it kills them, immediately you have ×5 Markov chain, which essentially gives you roughly a 30% increase there in damage for about 4.5 seconds. A lot of similarities here in how Markov chain works in Swashbuckler. And by the way, Monty's not a weapon to bat an eye at. It's a 600 round per minute auto rifle. It's got a 0.7 time to kill value optimally, as well as a 1.2 second time to kill value in its body shot. But with Markov chain ×5, say you get a melee kill or even just an explosive knife kill, that time to kill value drops down to 0.5 seconds. It's nasty. But to make things even nastier, we needed a final touch. Something to make Monty's life a tad bit easier. And that is, of course, dear old Marty here. This is actually a wave frame grenade launcher that was dropping back in Season of the Dawn. If you don't have it, it's okay. I'll cry for you. My role is definitely the God roll. I mean, this is the best Marty you can get. We've got a velocity masterwork, we've got demolitionist, we got auto-loading holster, high velocity rounds. You see the playstyle here? It's like everything Mountaintop wishes it could be. It sends out this solar wave, it's got style points, you then get the cleanup with Monty, hence the relationship Monty and Marty. Overall, guys, I had a lot of fun with this build. This is actually much better than I anticipated. And it's probably due to the fact that solar plexus and that increased damage by 25% is what's allowing for these proximity knives to really shine. And the fact that they can just randomly get a kill for me while I'm on the other side of the map, proccing us that Markov ×5, it's fantastic. On top of that, some of the most satisfying super shutdowns took place, and my God, did I love this. Laying down 2 knives, backing up, and watching folks in their super step over them, and then proceed to melt them was amazing. Now, one thing I did forget to mention is, of course, our grenade ability, trip mine grenades. Look, if you want to commit to the role-playing aspects of playing a trapper hunter, rock top tree gunslinger. Explosive knives in combination with trip mines, you will have your opponents guessing where the hell they're getting hit from at all times. And again, this is one of those builds that really thrives on specific maps. But placing traps up at every twisting corner is fantastic. And considering that our Marty here has demolitionists, this allows us to get our trip mine grenades back even faster. So guys, that is Monte and Marty. Try it out for yourselves. Throw on that solar plexus, break out that OPHIDIA spade, rock top tree gunslinger. It's got some fantastic synergy. On top of that, a decent super. I will say, top tree gunslinger is not bad for 6s. Although there were a few times yesterday that it got screwed because for some reason, Bungie in their infinite wisdom gave this super damage fall off. So be wary of that. If you're fast on the flicks though, this is an incredible super to get multi-kills with. And this way of the trapper vibe, you can't beat it. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching. And as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.